right, what's up, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving Eve, formerly known as Amateur Hour. I guess it still is called that. As you can see, when you get old, the last thing you want to do is go out the night before Thanksgiving. Well, if you're married and old. If you're single, you may be out. It's also reunion weekend. So if your class is having a reunion, or maybe you hit one of the milestone reunions, that's usually Friday night. My high school class that ended up failing my junior year, so I didn't graduate with them. They're having their 30th reunion Friday night, 1994. We want more, 94. Yep, failed my junior year. Missed too many days of school. They called me in the office at the end of the year. Normally they would say, hey, you missed such and such amount of days of school. You need to make up the days. And what they would let you do is they let you go into like almost it's like a detention for like 3 or 4 days during like after finals and stuff, when the teachers are still there. They're like, all right, you got to spend a week in this classroom, but like, that'll pass you. And they came up with a new rule that they didn't do that anymore. So if you missed more than 30 days total, you needed doctor notes to pass. And I missed more than 30 days. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to come up with some fugazi fake doctor's note. I had missed way too many days. So I just took it on the lip, repeated my junior year. So I graduated in 1995, but they're having the 30th reunion. And I haven't been to any reunion for 94 or 95. Delco Steve's with me tonight. And so I've had a lot of people reaching out. Delco Steve, how are you?
Great, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right. I had a lot of people reaching out. Hey, you going to the reunion on Friday night? And I'm like, no, I didn't graduate in 94. And they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, you can still go. It's $20. Blah, blah, blah. It's at Miller's Ale House in Willow Grove. Like, you can still go. And I'm like, yeah. Like, if I was single, I would 100% be there. But you know, I'm not. So like, what the hell am I going to go? I don't want to talk to anybody. People that I was
going to say, how many of those people do you actually want to see?
Well, I don't want. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. Like I'm sure I would have a good time, and I would see people that I haven't seen because, well, yeah, I went to the same school district my whole life, so there's a lot of people that I knew from kindergarten that I probably haven't seen since high school or close to after high school. But I don't know, man. I just don't. I'm out. I don't feel like doing it. I haven't been to any reunions.
I go to the bar down the street from my high school any weekend and have a reunion for my high
That's
school.
A reunion, right? Yeah, exactly. I had my days of having, like you said, high school reunions on the Thanksgiving Day weekend where you see everybody anyway. So I'm out. But yeah, so what's going on, man? We last week you couldn't do Wednesday. We were gonna do Tuesday. I got strep throat, and again twice in 5 weeks, which has to be impossible for an adult.
Dude, that sounds miserable. I got that like once a year in high school and early in college. I don't wish that week on anybody.
So here's what I've learned from the 2 bouts of it is the first time I got sick, and because you never suspect strep throat with adults because it's, far more likely that children get it than an adult. I haven't had it since I was a kid. And so I got it on like Thursday and the Friday. And then Friday night, I was like, oh, like I'm not going to go to the doctor. I'm just sick. I have some type of a viral thing. So then it doesn't get any better. And then Saturday, it's worse. So then Saturday, and I was actually down the city with my wife with this strep throat, going out to dinner and trying to drink.
Wait, is this the first time or this is 5 weeks ago, right? I was going to say, this happened again?
No, the first time. No, so I'm explaining the difference in the 2 strep throats.
Got it.
So like Thursday was feeling shitty. And then like had a temperature Thursday and the Friday. Woke up Friday, felt like crap, but powered through it. Just like took medicine, powered through it. Friday night, I'm like, all right, like I'm sick. It's a viral thing, whatever. Because the kid, like, it's one thing if the kids give you strep throat, right? But like no one else was sick. So like I didn't have that. So yeah, so like then Saturday, I'm in the city, we're staying over, I'm trying to power through it. So it's not till Monday that I actually go and my daughter tests positive for strep. And I'm like, oh shit, I must have strep. So I went, we'll just say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 full days before I got an antibiotic in the Monday. And bro, I was beat up for 2 weeks. That whole week, I was done. I felt like shit. This time, because I saw it coming on, I took 1 day of antibiotics and I felt great and I was done. But it was like that first day, I didn't feel well. I'm like, I have strep again? You gotta be kidding me. But anyway, yeah.
Do you get the liquid antibiotic? Because that bubblegum shit tastes amazing.
No, I'm not 5 years old. That's my kids.
Dude, when I was like 20 and had to get it, I was like, oh yeah, I can't swallow a pill. give me the juice.
You can't swallow a pill?
No, I can. I lied because I wanted the juice.
That's interesting. No, they gave me penicillin.
The penicillin is delicious.
Well, it's the pill form of penicillin.
I know. That's why I asked if you got the liquid form.
No.
Yeah, you always got to be a total baby when they give you penicillin because it tastes so good.
The nurse practitioner, I'm like,
whatever the fuck it's called.
I'm like, penicillin, what is this, 1950? And she's like, it's like, no, we like to give it because blah. I'm like, whatever. So I no. Anyway, so that's why we weren't on last week. So today I'm in my basement, but rather than sit at the bar, just not in the mood, right? So I am in my basement, as you can see behind me, dollhouses, and that thing right there is a. So because my middle girl she does tumbling and stunting, and she's like does competitive cheers. So she's the little girl that you throw up in the air, and she does splits and all this other shit.
A flyer.
Yes. So this is to help her do like a full back bend. And I have this right here.
I think you should demonstrate for us.
And it also folds out. It's a wedge, so you can do different type of, like somersaults or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, so that's fully decorated. We've moved the couches. Normally, you would see a couch in the background that like an L shape that goes to that pole. But my daughter's having a sleepover for her birthday. 12 girls are going to be staying over. So we took the couch, we put them one side of the room, other side of the room, and the middle right here is where they're all going to sleep.
All right, well,
that's going to be fun.
So when all those little girls stick their feet through the ceiling, jumping off all that stuff, I can come fix it for you.
Oh yeah, yes, please, yes, you can do drywall and ceilings and everything like that. All right, well, listen, it's been a rough couple of weeks for the 76ers. I don't even want to talk about them, honestly, man.
Dude, I'm so over them.
Right?
They're just like, what is there left to say? And I'm just gonna add into my misery for it. I bet McCain's 3 points for the first time all season, and he's over 6. I'm so done with this.
So today's the game that he sucks?
Yes. Like,
he's been great. All right, so for the first time, I saw some people say this before. Not that the Sixers should tank. I saw one guy that I know that loosely works in the media, and he's like, the Sixers are tanking. And this was like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, they're not tanking. Like at this point, they might be tanking. If Embiid's knee's jacked, which it is, he's not like. What's Embiid? Honestly, what's Embiid gonna do? Play 2 games and then have to sit out again, and then he'll get surgery, or he'll sit out for a couple weeks and they'll rest it, and then he'll try again. This ain't happening this year, man. I don't care. Sixers winning a championship. Like, really, 76ers fans, you want to say don't trade Joel Embiid? Like, whatever. I don't care about that. I think they should trade him. I'm officially where I'm over it, and I want him out. I want him gone because he's a negative influence. He's a fucking baby, and like, if you can't show up on time and you can't be the mature leader as the best player in the MVP of the league on the team, I don't need you. It sets a bad example, and he's a loser. So I'm out. And
you're easily the highest paid player on the team. How are you not showing up to, like, I get you're not full health and you're not doing full activities, but like, how hard is it to just show up and earn your paycheck and just sit in a meeting, or, be there for
take
a walk
it seriously?
You don't have to be participating to be on time, to be doing all the, I get it's probably boring and it makes the time go by slow, whatever, pick your freaking excuse.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Come on. If I'm getting paid $50 million I'll be on time to sit on my ass. Like,
here's the thing. This isn't about him being injured and not showing up on time. This is about him not showing up on time, injured or not injured.
oh, agreed.
There's an inside joke among the reporters that I was told this week, of the beat reporters, about how the plane takes off on time if Embiid's injured and isn't taking the road trip. Otherwise, who knows what time the plane is leaving? Or they know that when they can show up to the arena based on Embiid's availability and where he is or whatever. This is inside stuff from the beat reporters with Joel
Right, that they see every day.
This isn't, and that's what bothers me. It isn't like Allen Iverson, for everything he said about the practice. Like, we talk about practice, I see his point of view and understand his mentality more than Joel Embiid.
Yeah, because he's killing himself.
He's killing himself on the court. He's producing like hell, and he looks at it and says, all right, man, I know I'm supposed to be at practice, but you're making a big deal about practice. Look at what I'm doing in the game. Yep. Joel Embiid that says, oh, well, it was only once or twice, and I was injured. No, Joel, it wasn't once or twice. This is what you are. And you've never taken it seriously from when you were eating all the food in the plane before, all the Shake Shack or whatever on the floor. And I'm tired of talking about how talented he is. That's now out of my vocabulary. Everybody knows how talented he is. Blah, 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 blah. He's always going to be injured. You're always going to have to deal with the injury stuff. And you know what? You know when that story gets out? Because when he's producing, and the Sixers have won a lot of regular season games, Delco Steve. It's not like that they haven't been good in the regular season. But when he's doing this shit and they're winning games and he's putting up 30, no one says anything because he's producing and they're winning. They go 2-10, 2-11, and he's not showing up. Guess what? Word gets out. And the word is put out for him to be publicly shamed, as it should be. This is the first time. They've never started like this. They've never struggled like this. So F him, man. I'm done with it.
No, I'm on the same boat. Like, I'm not on trade him on the fact that you're never going to win that trade. It is what it is.
Is what it is, yeah.
So I think best option moving forward is you keep him, but at the same time, that's not a hill I'm dying on.
Sixers in overtime, 108 apiece with the Rockets. Maxi's going nuts tonight, 39 points. Delco Steve jinxed McCain. Keep your stinky bets away from this kid. He's too good.
It's just ridiculous. I look at him like, oh, he's got 4 threes in like every game the last 6. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. 0.
He's been unbelievable, man.
Freaking
he absolutely has. What are you doing for Thanksgiving tomorrow? Over your parents?
Yeah, I'll be at my parents. Just Mrs. Delco Steve is working tomorrow, so I'll be hanging out with the dog during the day and then going to my parents.
Watching some football.
Yeah, being locked in on football. That's it.
I don't even know what the times of the games are.
12:30.
Who plays what? Yeah, no,
Lions, Bears. Lions, Bears. Not Packers. Giants, Cowboys, Packers, Dolphins.
I can't wait to. Well, no, Tommy Cutlets isn't playing now, so I have less interest in watching the game.
It's my God, Drew Lock.
Yeah, who wants to see him? Tommy Cutlets sucks.
Who cried about not being the starter?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they put Tommy Cutlets out there, and the entire Giants team shut down and didn't play. Malik Neighbors was like, "What the f, man? What are you doing?"
Him and Dexter Lawrence were great.
Oh my God, they're like, yeah, no, you're gonna do that? We're not gonna play.
It's great.
So yeah, all of a sudden Drew Lock's now the starter. And it's like, oh well, he's too injured. Like, oh really? He wasn't on the injury report on Monday, but his forearm's too hurt.
Dable didn't even know till yesterday.
Bro, he's not hurt. They're giving him the nod and being like, listen, we got to do this. All right, we love you, kid. You'll be our backup next year. They gave him the wink. You think Cutlets is gonna be like, no, F that, I want to play, and they cut him?
Yeah, and let the offensive line get him killed.
Cutlets is a smart man. He needs to ride this out right there. He goes to the Primo Hoagies for appearances, and they line up around the block, those dumb Giants fans. Speaking of that.
Well, they have nothing better to, cheer on.
Bro, and I would say the average Giant fan and New York sports fans are different than here because they're split among their teams. It's less of a football town as it is a baseball town. So like it's not Philly. It's much different here. It's a much smaller city. But so like Giants fans and Jets fans are different. Jets fans are more like Eagles fans. But like I would say, and I have friends that are Giants fans, they are like they just hate watching Saquon Barkley have the success that he has with the Eagles, but they hate the Giants for it. Not because they should have re-signed Saquon Barkley, but because they're a loser organization that has screwed up everything. Because really the Giants, their biggest mistake was letting it get to having the franchise and then having to let him walk. The Eagles would have signed him. Right? Like what player has the Eagles not signed?
Yeah, they're always big game hunting.
But like so Saquon was drafted.
Oh, you're talking about by players be drafted?
If the Eagles would have drafted Saquon Barkley, and even if he didn't live up to the number 2 overall pick, but he's like still a good dude, he's still dynamic. Aren't they extending him? They're not letting it to go franchise, and then they're letting him go free agent. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he would have been signed after 3. He would have been signed after the 3rd year.
He would have been signed, and the Giants didn't do it, and they screwed up. And when you draft, like Ezekiel Elliott, he got the new contract and Jerry, like, did he hold out because of it? Yeah, he held out, but like Jerry ended up getting him.
Wasn't he suspended that year when he was?
He definitely held out too, but yeah, they drafted him too high. He was good, but not great. I mean, he was really good to start.
Oh, his first couple years, he was.
Oh yeah,
for
sure. He's a monster. And then like the Cowboys, like Jerry likes to do, he's like, oh well, he doesn't deserve this, doesn't deserve that, but they did it anyway. You're pot committed when you take a player like that, unless you're total bust. Hey, if you're a bust, then you're not going to get re-signed. Saquon Barkley's dynamic. We know that, right? It's just a matter of him staying healthy. But the team around him sucked. So anyway, my friends that are Giants fans are like, they're happy for Saquon. They hate that he's doing it in Philadelphia, but they hate the Giants because it's gotten to this, and they suck enough to where like he's now with the Eagles. Except for the one idiot, Sean Marash on WFAN up in New York, and I'm not going to say his name again, but BG on a show on WIP was really emotional talking about the injury and everything like that. And Sean Marash put a retweet and was like, get a grip, like grow up or whatever. And it's like, dude, he's been obsessed with Saquon Barkley and obsessed with the Eagles overpaid. The Eagles are stupid. It's bad business. Like, dude, you're taking an L. What he's going to do, he's going to wait. Saquon will injure himself like the middle of next year, and he'll be like, see, I told you. Right? Like, it was a great move for the Eagles. It wasn't a bad move for the Giants to let him walk. Like, at that point, who cares? They suck. You screwed it up.
I'm at the point. I'm so tired of the thank you Giants like narrative.
I am too.
Because it's just like Saquon he definitely wouldn't have half the yards he does now if he played for the Giants team.
They'd be 2-9. He's not a difference maker in wins or losses for that for a crappy team like that.
No. You look at the teams that signed running backs this year: Ravens, Packers, Eagles, and paid big money. I mean, I don't know. I don't consider the Derrick Henry contract that big of money, but
no, it was $9 million guaranteed.
Yeah, it was, 2 years, like $16 million tops.
And it was 9 guaranteed. Essentially what they do with those contracts are they say, hey, this is really like a year. And if we cut you, then we're having to take a cap hit in that second year a little bit. You have half a year of guaranteed money. It's a bargain for what he's doing.
Right. But it's like you see those types of teams that are built and ready to compete, adding those caliber of running backs. The Niners, when they got McCaffrey, like they make
I was wrong about that. I thought that was a bad trade, man.
They make a difference. They make a difference in those situations. Putting a Barkley on the Jaguars isn't going to make them good. Like if the Jaguars paid him $45-50 million, whatever,
it'd be a cash grab and it wouldn't work out,
and they'd still be trash.
Yes. The Texans actually wanted him. The Texans were one of the other teams that were
Mixon's doing well, and Mixon's doing well.
Mixon's good
there too.
Yeah, he's a good player. But the Eagles were, and this is where I have to throw roses to Howie Roseman. He not only signed Saquon Barkley, he targeted him, and they paid top of the market money. They didn't wait. Remember when who was it that was it the DeMarco Murray? Remember they signed Ryan Matthews and that dummy Chip. He's like, sign Ryan Matthews, and then DeMarco Murray's still not signed after like a week because his market wasn't there. And then Chip's like, really, he's not signed, and he went in and signed him because he felt like it was a good deal. They paid Saquon more than teams were willing to offer Saquon, or at least as much. So it's not like he was trying to get a deal, and it's like, oh, hey, we got a great deal with Saquon. No, they didn't pay a lot of money. Gabe Davis got almost the identical contract to Saquon Barkley.
Right.
Gabe Davis. Because he's a wide receiver, it's looked at as being like, oh, well, he's a wide receiver. Saquon Barkley, look at the difference he's making in this team. Unbelievable.
He'd be like the 30-something highest paid receiver in the league. Like, that's insane to me. I obviously the NFL has devalued the running back. We all know that. It's not rocket science. But I understand the not drafting him at the top of the first round because they can't all of a sudden make your team better. Like if you have a shit team with an amazing running back, cool. He got 1 yard and gets decked because the offensive line isn't there. It's just but if you have the infrastructure around them, go ahead, get these guys, pay these guys because they're worth it.
Yeah. So a lot of conversation with Saquon, the MVP, and obviously, but about how has Saquon saved the running back position? Will guys now start getting paid? And like, I'm not going to go that far because I don't believe
because they're not going to be.
But the special guys, I mean, it's not like Saquon got a $50 million, $80 million contract. He's making like $13 million a year, for God's sakes. But it does show you that good teams. You mentioned San Francisco, Delco Steve, the Lions, right? So I remember when the Lions gave David Montgomery that free agent contract where he left the Bears. They just actually signed him to an extension.
Yep.
But when he left the Bears, and I would have to look at the numbers, I remember my reaction was, what a shitty organization. Why are they signing that guy?
I think it was 3 by 24.
It was something that it was, and like, you got to go by guaranteed money, but still, they really gave him a bag. And it's like, well, what are they doing that for? Like, Lions are like terrible organization.
And it was like Devin Montgomery, he didn't live up to his draft type in Chicago. Like he was good.
He was good, but he wasn't great. They let him leave.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. That's
so Montgomery gets that contract, and then they draft Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. And if you remember, a lot of people, including me, were saying, you got to draft a running back in the first round like that. Like, what are you doing? That's such a reach. You would have been there in the second round. And I remember their GM, he answered a question about that, and he said, well, some people are saying that he was a second round running back. We loved him, and we know there was a team that was ready to take him. So he wasn't lasting to the 30s. He was going to go. If the Lions didn't grab him there, he was going to go. And they targeted him because they said, hey, like, this guy can play. Are you kidding me with this 1-2 punch the Lions have? Of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery? Awesome. They're unbelievable.
It's so much fun. That whole draft made that team. It's funny because everyone hated it, like coming out of it. Because they drafted the linebacker Campbell in the first round after Gibbs, and they were like,
and they talked shit on him.
You took a linebacker and a running back with 2 top 16 picks or whatever it was.
Yep.
And then they took Branch and Laporta in the second round, and they're like, "Oh, now you took the first round positions in the second round, and it worked." And the way it worked out for them is just insane. It's like,
no doubt about it.
It must be nice to be able to draft like that and hit 4 studs in a matter of 50 picks.
Right. And so San Francisco, Lions, Eagles, and I'm terrified if something happens to Saquon because this offense is Saquon. Everything runs through Saquon. If something happens to him, now you got Kenny Gainwell. And now you're going to now it's going to be Jalen play hero ball.
God, Kenny Gainwell getting carries
he's actually good in this role. 3 years, he's been good. 3 years, $18 million is what he signed.
Okay. The original one.
$10.5 million guaranteed. That's a lot of guaranteed money for a guy that I thought he's it's like LeGarrette Blount. Why you give him that guy that much money? He's like, he's like a 1A. And he's been fantastic. Man, I have him starting every week in fantasy. He gets a touchdown almost every week.
Yep. Same here.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, just plug him right in there. But yeah, so Saquon is I don't know if I've ever seen anything like him here. He's like T.O. The first year of T.O.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's that good.
Yeah, I can see that comparison. I mean, just the buzz that he creates is, and it's like it's positive buzz, unlike To, where it was just like, oh, he's awesome, but it's like he could also flip a switch tomorrow and lose it.
Yep, he sure can. All right, so you're feeling good about the Eagles Ravens on Sunday. That's a tough game.
I feel very confident with the talent on this team. I still have zero faith in Sirianni. I really don't. Like, I know we ended up blowing out the Rams in that game, like by the end, but it's the end of that first half. It like killed me. Like watching them like screw up that clock management. It's like, all right, cool. This is an okay, meaningful game in late November against the Rams on Sunday Night Football, and this dipshit can't figure out how to end the half. It's like, so what's it going to be? Round 1 of the playoffs, round 2 of the playoffs. Like,
you hope he doesn't have to make any of those decisions. By the way,
right? But he's going to.
By the way, do we agree that it's going to be the Rams and the Eagles in the NFC Championship game?
Rams Eagles?
Or not Rams. Lions. Sorry, Lions.
I was going to say that's a hot take.
No, not the Rams Eagles. Lions Eagles. Minnesota's good. They're going to be like the Eagles have the number 2 seed locked. The 3 seed is the West, is whoever comes out of the West. It's 6-5 right now.
Right.
That's the 3 seed.
And South is 6-5 right now too,
so
right? With Falcons.
No one's going to pass you from those divisions, and the Commanders are 7-5. So even if they beat you head to head, they're not catching you.
Yeah, worst comes to worst, you're still in the second.
Worst, I mean, seriously, worst case scenario, you're 2. You're going to have to go to Detroit. That's going to be a tough place to play. But what you were saying about calling Sirianni a dipshit, then everybody think like I love Dan Campbell. I didn't think that was going to work. So I thought the Lions were a disaster that would always not work. And he has built culture in Detroit like nobody else has, and it works. And he's not stupid. He's smart. If you watch enough Lions games, which I do, he'll be exposed with going forward on 4th down or kicking a field goal or going forward on 2. He does the same thing Nick Sirianni does. The reason you don't see it is the team's blowing fools out every week. They're scoring in the 40s, or like against the Colts last week, it was 24-6. They almost were like, oh, we got this game. We don't even need to try anymore. They haven't had a close game in a long time.
They're 9-2 against the spread.
Oh man, they're fun to watch too. I really do like the team.
I'm going to bet against them tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, the Thanksgiving game. Haven't they lost like 7 in a row, 9 in a row?
I went in. They ruined my Thanksgiving last year. They ruined Thanksgiving for me last year. I went in on them against the Packers, and they got waxed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. They got waxed last year?
Yep. When they were good. When they were good.
Oh, man, that offense they just don't have a weakness. Their offensive coordinator knows what the hell he's doing. Yeah, they're tough. I would love the matchup against the Lions.
The only other team that's in there is the Packers.
Yeah, they're good.
If Jordan Love turns it on like he did Thanksgiving last year for the rest of the season,
he's good.
He's a problem.
Well, it's still early enough where a team can get like for example, I want to declare the San Francisco 49ers dead. Like dead on arrival, DOA, you guys are done. But the West
done?
Yeah, but the West, the Seahawks are 6-5, they lead the division. So, if they get hot, and I just worry about this team getting in the Eagles' head. But like you just hope that no, keep losing, stay out of the playoffs.
Yeah, don't even have to deal with them.
Last thing you want is well, what they would get in as the 3 or the 4. So you probably wouldn't play them unless it was the second round.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I don't need them in there. I'm not worried about anybody else. And Lions and Eagles would be a dream matchup. God, I hope that's what it is.
The Lions definitely have a chance to take a few L's down the stretch here with they got Packers and Vikings still left on their schedule.
Yeah, I think it comes down to conference record at that point. and I think they're one up on the Eagles in the conference. Well, of course they are, because the Eagles have 2 losses. And then it goes, if they had the same conference record, it goes a common opponent. And I think because they lost to the Falcons, I believe Detroit lost to the Falcons as well.
No, they lost to the Bucs. We both lost to the
Both
Bucs.
lost to the Bucs, yes. Yeah, and the Eagles lost to the Falcons. So
yep.
And I think but anyway, yeah. So I'll have to look
at they wouldn't play anyone else besides the Bucs, I believe.
Both played the Rams, I think.
Well, because if we're playing the entire South this division this year, right?
Sure.
Yeah, because we played Bucs, Falcons, Panthers. We got Panthers next week. So yeah, so they wouldn't play the whole division. They would have played the first place team because they won the division last year, and the Bucs won the division last year.
All right, so common opponent, they beat the Jags 52-6. Beat the Texans, beat the Packers, that's a common opponent. Titans, Vikings, they smashed the Cowboys. The Eagles didn't play the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Bucs, yeah. So and the Lions. So they beat the Rams, they beat the Bucs,
and the Cowboys.
So and the Cowboys, right? So there's a couple of common opponents, but the Lions here, and you say it's a tough games, but they're also at home. Packers at home, so that's a week. That's the Thursday night game after the Thanksgiving. So they go back-to-back Thursday nights. Or tomorrow, 12:30, Thursday night against the Packers at home. The Bills is a tough game, also at home. And then they go at the Bears and then at the 49ers. That could be a 49ers team that is starting to click and they're making a playoff run. So that could be a very difficult game. And then final game at home against the Vikings. The Vikings are probably going to have the top seed locked up. I mean, who knows? The Vikings
top wild card seed.
Yeah, top wild card seed locked up.
Well, it's good. That I was all going to come down to that North Division, how they beat up on each other.
Right. Because there's going to be two playoff teams likely that
the Vikings
have good records.
Are pretty much locked in.
Yeah, so the Vikings 2 losses. If they're the top wild card, they're still 5. So that last game of the season, if it's for the division, but the Lions also won the first game, so they couldn't win it head to head. I don't know what their division record is or whatever, but like that could be for nothing. And because the Vikings are if they don't win the division, they're going to be the top wild card.
Right, and then they'll take that week as their bye week. If it doesn't matter, they'll take that week as their bye week.
And the Lions may play because they know they need to win and whatever else.
Yep.
So listen, the Eagles have a tough game on Sunday. They lose to the Ravens.
They win this Sunday. It gets interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does. All right. Well, there you go.
I think they got a great shot against the Ravens this weekend. Like going from pessimistic Steve in the beginning of the year. This is very optimistic. This is very optimistic. I don't think that Ravens defense is anything special whatsoever. So
you're calling the head coach a dipshit.
Yeah, he is a dipshit. And it's like, honestly, this team would be better if anyone else was the head coach. But I don't know. I think the offensive weapons are clicking. Do we have any idea if Smitty's going to be playing this weekend?
He didn't practice again today. I'd say no.
Okay.
He's not even out there doing like individual stuff. He ain't playing.
Right.
No. So here's.
I think they'll be able to take advantage with AJ and Saquon enough.
They have 4 losses. Baltimore needs this game, man. Not that they won't make the playoffs, but still, they lose this game. They have 5 losses. I don't know their remaining schedule. Now they're definitely looking at wild card territory.
Oh, they're going to win that. They're winning that division. Steelers are going to crumble.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to crumble. I don't believe in them to be a true Super Bowl contender.
No, they can't crumble enough to be out of the playoffs, but they're going to not win the division. That team. All right.
Well,
that team's frauds.
Yeah, but how many? They have 2 losses now, right? They'd have to almost lose out. They have 3. All right, that's right.
Yeah, they just lost to the Browns.
Well, hey, listen. I hope they do, because I never want to see the Steelers win anything.
I mean, they're going to lose to us.
Yeah, that'll be a good game too.
There's another loss.
Yeah, there's some really good. There's some like the thing that impressed me the most about the Eagles is they're so relentless on offense with how they run the football, and the offensive line and Saquon and AJ Brown and Devontae. There's a swagger about them. There really is. And then on defense, not even just like Jonathan Gannon 2022, they got to the quarterback. You got to give them credit. They historic numbers sacking the quarterback. But that wasn't a great defense outside of that, right? This is a top to bottom linebackers, line, secondary, a great defense.
A very cohesive unit.
Oh my God, they're good. So that's the difference. So, and they're relentless too. And I hate seeing Brandon go down.
Dude,
I was having such a great year.
Honestly, it took everything I had to not text you at like midnight when I got the notification to be like, oh, he's done.
I didn't even know it.
I was just thinking about every week when we do this. They're like, you're saying he should come back. He should come back. He should come back. And I'm like, yeah, he should come back.
I had a parody song. I'm going to have to do it anyway. I had a parody song already written for him to come back. It's Frozen, Let It Go, Adina Menzel. BG don't go unless Howie tells you so. BG don't go. Something like that. I still think he comes back.
I mean, at this point, like, why not? It's like, if you come back and next season is the season the wheels fall off, okay.
It wasn't this year. And it's not an ACL or an Achilles, right? Like, he'll have to do rehab and stuff, but it's not the end. It's not a leg injury. It's not a knee injury.
Yeah, so I mean, he's still gonna have time to like work out stuff, like, be working on whatever from now until then. And so
here's the thing, and I learned this from Ike Reese, who said like he was in Atlanta, he left Philly, went to Atlanta for a couple of years, and he got cut from Atlanta. They brought in a new head coach, and he got cut. And he's like, all right, he was already in his head thinking like, is this it? Right? Like, he's playing his last games. Like, is this it? And then in the offseason, he got a couple calls for tryouts and things like that. And it wasn't, hey, we want to sign you. It's like, hey, we want to see what you look like. And, maybe we'll sign you and you'll have a chance to make the team. And his perspective is, well, shit, I'm not guaranteed even making the team. I got to get myself ready to go for another season. Like, I don't know if I can do it. And like, he knew that he knew he couldn't do it. So like, he already knew in his head, Brandon's not there. And I haven't talked to him about it, but knowing him and doing a show with him for a long time and just talking to him last year, when I think a lot of people thought maybe he wouldn't come back or the Eagles wouldn't want him back, or this was his last year. And you could tell he wasn't done playing football. And he said to me, he goes, I want to play at least another year. And he said, at least another year. So I don't get the idea that he's done. They win the Super Bowl and he says, all right, well, like, but he's not on the field for it. Right. I don't know, man.
I don't know, dude. I think he pops off the page now more so than he ever did 10 years ago. It's like, so I think
he was in on every play. In some of these games, he's literally in the backfield. Any tackle for a loss or any disruption in the running game, it's him.
Yep.
He had a sack, and then he had the play where he deflected the ball, and it could have been an interception. It was incomplete, but he deflected the ball, right? Tackles for losses. He blew that one play up in the backfield. He didn't get credit for it because he didn't make the tackle. But he blew
they
mentioned for loss.
Well, they gave him his flowers on the broadcast. They were. Oh yeah,
Collinsworth was all over it, as they should. Yeah,
so like the rare Chris Collinsworth praising an Eagle segment.
Oh, Collinsworth hates the Eagles. He's always rooting against them.
I hate him.
I thought he was great on Sunday.
Sunday he was fine, like whatever.
Bro,
but week to week, I would love to just hit him with a sledgehammer.
We didn't get to talk about it. He can be annoying.
He's the worst.
We didn't.
I wish someone hit him harder when he was receiver, so he couldn't talk right now to be a freaking commentator.
But he's the best.
No,
I'll take him over Aikman. I'll take him over Aikman.
No, he's a 16 seed. Subtract 10 more spots. No. I hate him. He's the worst.
So let me give you like we didn't talk about it, and my head wanted to explode. The Thursday night game. Who are they playing?
Yes,
Washington.
Washington game. Yeah.
And Al Michaels, who he needs to go to a nursing home at this point.
Oh, he's washed too.
He's washed. He has no excitement. He's fine with calling the game and following the game. He's still pretty sharp with that. But like at the end of that game, there's 4 minutes to go, and he's talking about how the game's over. That Washington has no chance. Meanwhile, they're driving down the field, And if they score a touchdown, they may not even have to have an onside kick because there's enough time left and they have timeouts. And Al's being like, oh, well, this game's over. And it's like, dude, you're an idiot. And how is there not a producer in his ear trying to explain, or when it goes to commercial, trying to explain, hey, Al, just so you know, this game's not over, right? And how does he not know after doing this for so long? The last thing you want to do is tell the viewer that maybe doesn't have football savvy to realize the game's actually not over. You're telling them to go to bed.
Right.
What you should be doing is saying, well, listen, do the math here. If they score, they may not even have to have an onside kick, but this becomes a one-possession game. They could essentially kick it away and stop the clock and still have a minute to go with just needing a field goal. That's where Herb Street needs to step in and be like, Al, listen, it might be a long shot, but Washington's driving, and if they score a touchdown, at the very least, they're going to have a shot at an onside kick.
I didn't get to hear it. I was at that game, so I didn't get to catch it.
Oh, my God, dude.
So I'm thankful that I missed that. But I like Herb Street. Like, I think he's really good.
I do too.
I think he's been so, like, pacified, though, with working with these dudes that are just 30 years past their prime, with him and Lee Al Michaels and Lee Corso. It's like he just is like, like you guys are the legends, so I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Oh God, Al is. I want him to retire because he's and it won't change. It won't change anything what he's done. So I've always thought he was the best, but he's bad now, man. He's bad.
So back to my hating of Chris Collinsworth. 10 years ago when it was Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Al Michaels has his A game, I could deal with Chris Collinsworth. Now it's like when it was bad Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, I just was like, this is the worst. I couldn't stand it.
No.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I can't stand them. They were the worst.
I know you can't. You and everybody else in Philadelphia.
The last two. Oh, dude, I'll take the Eagles the bias out of it. He's always like doing something that's driving me freaking bananas. And I hate the slide in. I can't stand it.
It's a little cheesy.
It's so bad.
And maybe it's because the broadcasting product's been watered down a little bit with not having great people in there. I don't know. Whatever.
I'll take Buck and Aikman a million times out of a million over.
Yeah, Buck and Aikman are really good. I agree.
And Buck hates, and they both hate the Eagles too. So,
yep. Sixers lose. Is that? Let me see here.
Is it official?
I don't want to, like, some nights we watch and we like.
I'm watching the Flyers game anyway. Yeah, they lost by 7.
Nice. What are the Flyers doing?
They're losing by 1.
Did Mitchie get a goal? I saw he had a goal the other night.
No, Lawton scored in the first. It's 2-1, 15 minutes left in the third.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
they've been playing better. They've been playing better.
No, they whenever I've tuned in, I've been entertained. And that's all I was asking for this year, bro, is to be able to tune in and be like, oh, this is good. At the beginning of the year, they were shit.
Game on Monday was a little rough. 3-0 lead and lose.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Against Vegas.
Yeah, they came back. Yeah, Vegas they're built to win right now, right?
Yeah. But you still should. You're up 4-1. You shouldn't lose that game.
The Colorado game, I read the whatever the SB Nation Avalanche page is.
Okay.
And their whole tone was like, wow, the Avs were lucky to win that game. The Flyers are good. They really fought hard to come back in that game. So, like, you got to take victories like that.
That game would have been like the prototypical way I wanted every game to go last year, where it's just like, yeah, we were getting hemmed in our own zone. The Avalanche were buzzing. They were having scoring chances, but we were counterpunching. And it was like, yeah, it was 3-0 at one point, but that wasn't a 3-0. That was never actually a 3-0 game. Like, the Flyers got robbed multiple times, and then they get it back to 3-2 at the end. Honestly, like, when there's 30 seconds left in the game, I'm like, they're scoring. I'm like, they're going to freaking score. I was shocked they didn't. So,
all right.
Expecting better now.
Yeah, man. Listen, we know they're not winning the Stanley Cup this year.
That is for sure.
All right. So tell me if you saw I put a top 10 Eagles list out there, but it was from Chat GPT. You know what
no,
that
I did
is?
not say it. Yeah, it's the AI, whatever.
It's the AI things. Yeah. So I typed in top 10 Philadelphia Eagles players of all time, and they spit this out. All right. Would you like to play?
Are we playing Family Feud?
We're going to play Philly Feud. Yes.
Sounds. Yeah, I'm game.
All right, and I'll just tell you that a lot of them are really good. There's a couple on there that are absolutely positively ridiculous.
Let me get rid of the comments here.
What do we got here?
Right. I don't want to see anyone's answers. Are you going to give them like if I say the name, you're going to be like, all right, they're one, like same.
Yeah,
same
I'll say survey says, and I'll tell you which one it is.
All right,
well, hold on, we gotta
our knockoff music.
This is the real music. It's just not piping through a board like you're on the radio. All right. And here's what it says. When you type it in, it spits this out. It says, the Philadelphia Eagles have had many great players throughout their history. Here's a list of the top 10 Philadelphia Eagles players based on their impact, accomplishments, and overall contribution to the team. These players have defined the franchise in different eras, contributing significantly to the team's success and legacy. Top 10 Eagles per chat GPT. Steve from Delco.
Dawkins.
Dawkins. Yes, he is number 3.
Okay. I'm trying to debate how I wanted to go about this. What Kelsey? Really?
One strike. Does not make the list.
All right, Reggie White,
number 1, one of the best players of all time in the NFL.
He was number 1.
Number 1. Oh no, Reggie White is an all-time player.
No, I agree, but I'm surprised he's number 1 on the Eagles list.
Oh, there's nobody. Now, like, I guess because he left and went to Green Bay, and a lot of people think of him as a Packer, which makes me so sad because he should have never left here. But all right, so there's another Hall of Famer. He played defense and offense. Is number 2.
Survey said.
Number 2. The only freaking number 2 I know is freaking David Akers.
Not the number 2. He's number 2 in the survey.
Survey said.
got Reggie 1, Brian Dawkins 3.
Who's played offense? Is it old player?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna know.
His name's Concrete Charlie. Well, I mean, how you not gonna Chuck Bednarik?
Whatever. Who up? Foles.
Survey says.
How? He freaking won the Super Bowl.
He would not have made my top 10 list, but
he would not have made my top 10 list either. But it was accomplishments.
Well, don't think of but I mean
Brian Westbrook.
Oh man, I feel bad for you here.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
All right, running back from the 40s, Steve Van Buren, and I've read up on Steve Van Buren because of Ray Dininger and his Eagles Encyclopedia. He's number 4 on the list, and he was a Hall of Fame type running back. Yes,
McCoy.
He was a Hall of Fame running back. LaShawn McCoy. Survey says
if he doesn't make it,
number 10 on the list.
All right.
Same.
Cunningham.
No, Randall's not on the list. You're missing a quarterback, though. I will say that.
Is it McNabb?
Donovan McNabb.
I was saving that one.
Survey says.
What?
Not make the list. There is a quarterback on the list.
Oh, Jaworski? Charles?
Rod Jaworski. This is one of the absurd ones.
Is it Vic? If you tell me it's Carson Wentz, I'm logging the
survey says.
Oh my! I'm gone. Bye.
7th on the list, Carson Wentz. Wentz was the leader of the Eagles offense for several years and was instrumental in getting them to the Super Bowl, even though he was injured during the postseason. His early years showed his immense potential in leadership. Oh yeah, he was a big time leader.
I hate that MFer. I hate him so much. I don't care. I don't care what.
What's silly to have him on a top 10 list.
No, I agree. But I just hate him, period. I don't care if he's on a top 10 list or not. I never wanted him. I ate crow when it looked like he was good, admitted it, and then sucked again. And so I look dumb both ways. I hate it. I make myself look dumb all the time. I don't need people helping me.
He helped you.
Yeah.
Reggie White 1, Bednarik 2, Brian Dawkins 3, Steve Van Buren 4, Carson Wentz 7, LaShawn McCoy 10. There is a potential Hall of Famer that played really from Andy Reid all the way up until with the Eagles recently. Last couple years ago. Lineman.
Oh, Jason Peters?
Jason Peters. Survey says he's number 9 on the list. So there is Tommy McDonald, who you're not going to get. He's a Hall of Famer. Ray Didinger, his play, Tommy and Me, is about that. So he was number 6. So number 5 on the list and number 8 on the list. Number 5 is as absurd, if not more, than Carson Wentz, and was also on the Super Bowl team.
As
offensive player.
If you say Alshon, I'm going to...
Alshon Jeffrey. Survey says.
That 5?
So stupid.
I never would have got that one.
Jeffrey was a key contributor to the Eagles' Super Bowl victory. His clutch performance in the postseason, particularly in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, made him a hero in Philadelphia. Oh yeah, everybody's a hero. There's a statue of him. Do you see the guys going over and seeing him after the Rams game?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Jalen and some other guys ran over. I guess he was at the game, and his hair's not looking good. The hair didn't look good. But yeah. All right. And the last one.
You said like Ertz was on that list. I would take
not.
I would at least be like, okay.
Ertz isn't a you don't retire his number, but he's an all-time franchise player. He's certainly an Eagles Hall of Famer. But
yeah, I would say Eagles Hall of Fame player. Yeah.
He's close. If he would have finished his career and never left, then maybe he gets his number retired. If he
got 3 yards per catch, if he got 3 yards after catch every time he caught the ball, he'd be a number retired player
instead of falling down.
Yeah.
By the way, number 8's Jeremiah Trotter, and I love Trot, but he doesn't.
No way.
Trot's a great player. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
That sucked.
With or without another year, I think Brandon Graham gets his number retired. What do you think?
He's at minimum the shadow retired. No one's
don't give up his number.
Yeah, no one's gonna be wearing that number.
Randall's shadow retired.
Well, so is Foles apparently.
Foles is. Yeah, and I don't mind that.
I don't agree with that at all.
I don't mind that because, dude, it would break my heart if someone else wore a 12. It would, maybe if it had already happened, I wouldn't care anymore. But because it's been this long and nobody wore 12, I don't want anybody to wear 12. Maybe after I'm dead or after they sell the team, they'll do it. But all right, for example, all right, Brandon Graham, you say shadow retired. Donovan McNabb pitied the Eagles into retiring his number way too soon. Donovan McNabb does not deserve to have his number retired. He was a good quarterback. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback. He is not an all-time player in this franchise, and I don't give a damn if he's the best quarterback in franchise history. I don't care. That doesn't mean you deserve to have your number retired.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, it doesn't bother me that his number's retired because, I think he's easily the best quarterback in franchise history. I don't care that Wentz had a couple great years. I don't care that Foles won the Super Bowl in this particular conversation. It's you look at the numbers. It's yeah, did he have his faults? Of course he did. But it's he was easy. These other guys didn't compare to him on a total scale.
Right. Agreed. And I don't care if his number's retired or whatever. I do it in this context though, knowing that it's a quarterback and he has the ball in his hands and he's instrumental in everything that goes on in the game. His worst moments came in the biggest spots.
Yeah, fair.
It's reality. He also won a lot of playoff games too. So I say that to say, if Donovan McNabb gets his number retired, how the hell does Brandon Graham not get his number retired? 15 seasons. If he comes back next year, 16 seasons. Going from we don't want you here, We want Earl Thomas. We hate
Yep.
you. Him blocking everybody.
Just had
on
this
Twitter.
conversation. Just had this conversation this week.
Jamie Lynch and I figured out we were out eating one night, and like I went to search Brandon Graham's Twitter. I'm like, I'm blocked by Brandon Graham on Twitter. And then Jamie checked. He's like, I'm blocked by Brandon Graham on Twitter. So then we tweeted out, is anybody else blocked by Brandon Graham on Twitter? And like 1,000 people said blocked by Brandon, blocked by Brandon. So we started hashtagging blocked by, everybody's hashtagging blocked by Brandon. And you know what he did? He came into the Fanatic studio and we asked him about it. And he said, anybody that talked negatively about me, even without tweeting at me, I blocked because I didn't want to see the negativity. And
well, you were looking for it, obviously.
Well, yes, but he didn't want to see it, and he owned it. And there was the famous drop that was, "Thank you, 97.5."
Yeah,
that he said when he was on the show. I forget why he said, but he was thanking us for like exposing that because it was like a learning thing for him. And I was so impressed with how he handled the situation. And then he turned his career around, man. I mean, he went from being get the bleep out of here. We want Earl Thomas. Look where Earl Thomas is right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's in a bad spot. Like, he's had some major personal stuff
bad.
going on. Bad stuff.
Bad.
And meanwhile, Brandon is the toast.
Like, hi, I'm here.
Yeah, the toast of the town. Everybody loves him. He's the best dude ever. He's a great dad. He's a great husband. I know this.
Oh, dude.
When
I worked at events for WIP, I worked 3 or 4 with him, and he like met him once, remembered my name the next time, like nicest, genuine dude.
Says hi to everybody. Says hi to everybody when he shows up.
Stops and talks for 10 minutes before he goes and does his thing. Like nice dude, like genuine human being.
Dutch and BG, of all the people I've ever worked with or I've ever been around, former athletes, were easily the best by far. Easily the best. And there's nobody like Dutch. No one will ever be like Dutch. But BG is a close second. He's amazing.
And BG's got some pythons, man.
He's a big dude.
He's jacked.
He's a big dude. Yeah, he is. He's strong as a dude. He blew out his Achilles, and he was like doing the show from home for a couple weeks, laying because he's not allowed to. He has to keep it elevated. Right. And then he's coming in doing the shows. And this was during when the Eagles were really shitty that year. And he was coming in every week and going to Chickies every week. And it was like, damn, dude, like this guy, because he felt like it was his job to answer to Eagles fans. He really did. He truly believed that. And so but Kelsey's getting his number retired. Lane's getting his number retired. BG should get his number retired.
Wait, I might be messing this up. Did he just pass the most games played for Eagles, or is he there?
Yeah, a couple games ago.
Yeah. So it's like
most games in franchise history.
He's most games in franchise history. He's been a productive player pretty much throughout the entire tenure, but more so in the later stages of his career when the team has been not dominant into like, oh, we won multiple.
Yeah, they were championship caliber.
Yeah, like they were in the hunt every single one of those years it's about. So yeah, you're not getting any arguments out of me if you retire at 55.
It just kills me that he got injured this year because he was playing so well, and now they're short an end, but he was just playing so well. He was getting starter snaps almost in some of these games.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the few positions on this team that isn't just filled with depth.
Yeah, it's not great depth.
Especially when you spend $50 million on.
It's the one bad move Howie made this offseason because he's had a lot of hits, bro. But this
offseason is very reminiscent of the Super Bowl offseason. It is where the moves that he made, they all panned out.
I was just talking about it with the cousin Jamie Lynch today, where I was like, he hit on almost everything. He did hit on everything. And the one thing he didn't hit on this year was the Bryce Huff. And it didn't hurt him. Not yet. Now it's going to.
Yeah, we'll see now. I saw you guys were down at Reading Terminal today.
Yeah, man.
I was in my bliss in there Saturday morning roaming around.
Were you?
Oh, dude, I was in heaven. I probably gained 15 pounds in the hour I was there.
I bought almost $70 worth of pies You know what? It doesn't take many of them to do that. Yeah, I always get the pies from the one place there. When I lived in the city before every Thanksgiving, I'd walk over and I'd grab them and then bring them up to my parents or wherever I was going the next day. So I did that.
We did breakfast sandwiches. We got cheesesteaks, chocolates, cookies.
Oh,
a giant Rice Krispie treat. Oh, dude, I was living. Yeah, we dropped a pretty penny at Ready Terminal Saturday morning.
Place is awesome. I love it. All right, what else do we got here? Anything else tonight there, Delco Steve? Anything else on your mind?
I think we hit all the pressing stuff.
Did we? All right. I haven't considered drinking tonight, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, why would I do that?
For Thanksgiving Eve sake.
Yeah, but like then I feel like I'm like half buzzed, and then I like go upstairs, go to sleep. There it is. All right, Delco Steve. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. Final score Birds game. What you got?
I'm gonna say the Ravens are gonna actually be able to score a little bit, but still like 30-24.
30-24 Birds?
Yeah. We're better than them.
Or Birds.
We're a better team than
them. Yes. But it's week to week. I just feel like the Ravens need this game more than the Eagles do.
I think the Ravens are skating. Like the Chargers had a shot to punch them in the mouth last week, and they just whiffed.
They blew it. Yeah.
Like that.
Ravens didn't want to win that game. I agree.
If Quinn Johnson had any type of hands,
oh my God,
the Chargers win that game.
Bad drops too. Bad. We had three of them that were just atrocious.
Like the Ravens got lit up by the Raiders. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, that was a weird game, man.
Chase and Burrow freaking tore him apart twice.
All right. Listen, you're getting chessy with your Eagles. Go for it. Let's go.
Yeah. Big AJ, big Saquon games back to back.
All right. Go Birds. I'll be back PHLY on Friday. So I'll talk to everybody Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Peace.